Gary Zitterich is currently second in the point standings at Houston. Just 5 years ago, he was a novice at the age of 29. How has he been able to make such a sudden splash? Teamwork. Much like the men in the trenches blocking for an All-American back, it's the guys in the pits who can make or break a driver.
There's 1,000 things to do in the pits. Everybody's got their own job to do. Even the smallest job is important. And without a good crew, it's pretty hectic to maintain a race car.
There are 6 members of this crew, although on Sunday night there was a 7th. I wanted to see what it was like firsthand. There were 2 things I noticed right away. They don't hesitate to help a neighbor, and they seem to know each other's next move at all times.
When we first started racing, we kind of all worked on the car, and that's why the crew's been together so long. Everybody knows everyone, and it's a real excellent crew.
Each person has his own specific duties, so you can't run and hide if something goes wrong during the race.
If I do something wrong, it could wreck the car, and I'll cost Gary and Larry a lot of money.
Seldom has something gone wrong this year, although all the work in the world can be wasted if Lady Luck isn't on your side. Tonight at 10, we continue It's the Pits with a look at pre-race preparations. As we told you at 6, the Zitterich pit crew takes a lot of pride in what Gary does on the track. That's why these guys donate their time, sometimes 6 nights a week to number 29 if he races 3 times. Now on a typical race day, they meet at the shop at noon. It's off to Houston at 5 after everything is in order mechanically. With the exception of making Mark feel important, the crew is set to go.
I usually go around and make sure that the car is ready basically to go out when Gary climbs in it, so he can just concentrate on driving. If something happens, then everybody's in panic city.
Although he's the driver, Gary is still the boss. And when he's in the car, it's Larry Applin who calls the shots. After all, he is the co-owner. Changes are made according to the conditions. The wing angle, or tire pressure, or compound on the tire, it all might need adjustment. Zitterich tries to block out distractions. As he prepares for the race, I guess it would be natural to be nervous. But fear, that's another thing. Knowing the consequences must instead create respect.
There's always a little bit of fear, but you kind of put that to the back of your mind. If you're to say there is no fear, it'd be lying, but to let the fear bother you, you're in the wrong sport.
So the car is set. It's almost race time for the heavy metal. It's the Pits concludes tomorrow with what goes on during and after the race. When the pit crew rolls Gary Zitterich onto the track, it's out of their control at that point. He would finish second in the heat race this night, securing a good spot in the middle of the feature. Strategy is discussed before the race.
We usually discuss our race strategy before a race. If we don't have a good night, on the way home, we usually discuss what we did wrong, what we could have done to have been faster, what we could have done to make the car handle better, possibly, or where the adjustments were made wrong.
When it's time for the feature, it's one last chance to wish Gary luck. The car is checked over one final time. Then, we become cheerleaders. And for some, it's very tough to watch.
Sometimes you get pretty nervous watching Gary race. Other times, it's just a breeze. You just stand there and just watch him, and it's real fun.
It's been a great year for the Zitterich crew. Consistent high finishes have made watching the races fun for Larry Applin, who owns the engine. Suddenly, the race is over. Gary finishes 5th. A very good effort, especially with an intruder from the Outlaws circuit blowing away the field. The crew is proud.
It makes it all worthwhile. You forget about all the bad times you had, and you're glad that it's over with, and then you get ready for the next race.
To win is a lot, because everybody remembers who won. They don't remember who got second as a rule.
Gary is still seeking that elusive first at Houston, but it will come. Just ask his fans who mob him after every race.
How you guys doing?
After all, some good guys do finish second, and it's not the Pits. Is it, Gary?